I know there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of videos that exist on YouTube already telling you how to get sculpted abs, but I guarantee you if you take the time, watch this entire video from start to finish, you will have watched a YouTube video. Now, I've said it many times, fitness content is my least favorite content on YouTube to watch and produce. But I do get a lot of questions about what my diet is, exercise, and everything like this. So on this video, I'm gonna go over how basically I maintain what I would consider a lean physique. Now, like most people who are probably nearing 40, I grew up with the Brad Pitt, Troy physique, where those Brad Pitt abs. Personally, that lean physique always appealed to me a lot more than the big Conan the Barbarian look. So that became much more of the goal for me. And a lot of what I do with the bow and with the different weaponry stems from, I think, a functional desire to have a strong physique to do certain tasks and certain things. I just necessarily have a certain look. First things first, genetics and body composition. I am 5'11", but basically most of that is torso. I have a super duper long torso and short legs. So I'm always gonna look leaner. Even when I was heavier or bulkier, I still had almost visible abs just because of the length of my torso. So that's one thing I had going for me, and I think that's why I have a leaner looking physique all the time, is because of the way that my body's literally proportioned. What part of this video is actually usable to people who ask me the questions? Well, I feel like I'm talking mainly to dads, you know, guys in their 30s, 40s, things like that. I have 3 kids, and so all of my workout time is done super duper early morning. I basically sacrifice sleep in order to get my exercise in. And so in doing that, I wake up at 3 o'clock, I do an hour of cardio. That hour of cardio, that's where I really feel like it helps me the most, because in doing so, my heart rate's generally from 130 to 160 for an hour to an hour and a half. During that session, I usually burn about 700-800 calories, somewhere in that ballpark. And I feel like that really helps me, because if I have an off day, or I have a day where I go out with my wife and we have a date night or anything like that, I have a bank of calories, let's say. To give you an idea of how frequently I do it, here's a little snapshot of the past like 8 weeks or something like that. You can see that's like 44,000 calories burned. It sounds like a lot, but it's just consistency. I'm always burning calories every morning. That's the one thing I always do. Even if I don't go to the gym, I do the trainer. I always get cardio because A, it's more fun, and B, I think it's just better for your overall health. So what don't I do? Next up, of course, we have diet. Everyone says abs are made in the kitchen. I've said this a couple times on my channel. I wasn't always lean. If you just go back even a few years, you can see my wedding pictures, or even in 2016, 17, 18, losing weight in earnest till probably about 2019. That's when I started to eat right, exercise more, and do all that. And then where I am now in 2024, that was, again, it was like a 5-year journey. It was about 2 or 3 years to lose the weight. And then after that, I had a slow gaining process of putting on muscle. That was about 2 years or so, but I was just larger framed anyway, so I carry more muscle mass. Even when I was heavier, I was still pretty bulky overall. Say abs are made in the kitchen, what exactly does it look like for me? Well, one of the major things that I do have in here as a staple is going to be egg whites. That's going to be something I have very frequently. The other thing I have is I use what's called super creamer in my coffee. It's like a sugar-free coffee creamer, adds a lot of flavor and stretches that coffee out. I tend to drink a lot of decaf during the day because hot stuff tends to fill you up, I feel like, and using that super creamer helps stretch the calories a super long way just to help me feel full as the day goes on. And the other thing I like to do is I have a bunch of these in the freezer or the fridge at a time. This is basically vacuum sealed cooked chicken. And you literally take it with you, like you're going to work or anything, and you can just cut it open and take it on the way. The other thing I do with this is I have it on an enormous bed of lettuce. The amount of roughage that I eat in a day is just obscene, because my goal in a meal is to walk away feeling full, and adding tons of lettuce or greens to it adds minimal calories with a lot of volume, and then you can have like a sugar-free, you know, dressing if you want or anything. Oh, that's it. That's me and my wife in college, a young-eyed 20-year-old. And another supplement that I do is Magic Spoon cereal. Now, they're not sponsored. I'm not sponsored or paid for them, but I just like it, and I tend to mix it if I have it with like a vanilla protein shake. So it adds a little bit of protein to it. I'm not having the milk or the sugars or anything of that. And it's just a good way to kind of curb that sweet tooth on occasion. So the main reason I really don't like doing these is because A, I just think they're incredibly boring. I have a hard time making them dynamic and fun.
Bueller. 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 Bueller.
And B, I don't feel like I have much to contribute aside from what's already out there. But I will tell you, a majority of what is out there is not necessarily helpful, at least to me. You kind of see all these videos and like abs in 22 weeks and all this, and it's got an image of someone doing sit-ups or crunches. Well, you can crunch your way into oblivion, but you're never gonna get a six-pack unless you get that diet right and get that cardio in. And this is, again, my interpretation. I am not a trainer. Great guys out there. I think Jeff Nippard's really good if you're curious. He does great stuff, good science-based content. Biggest takeaway, and I always say this in all my videos, is this continued effort over a long duration of time. Try to get that realistic expectation in there and understand that it's gonna take years and years and years before you get the look that you may want. And some people may not necessarily get it at all just because of the way your body's spaced out. If I had a super short torso, I wouldn't have like the longer, leaner looking stomach. And so it's kind of like do the best that you can with the physique you have. Push hard, and whatever the results are, it's gonna be results of your hard work, but you're gonna have worked for it. You're gonna really push for that. You're gonna try and get that. Give me something usable. What are the numbers I try to hit calorie-wise, dietary-wise, etc.? Well, I try to keep it around 2,000 calories a day, sometimes a little bit less. I have 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And then basically for the fats and the carbs, I just kind of distribute those out however the day goes. Tons of greens and things like that. And
you have a kind of sick desperation in your laugh.
These are so boring. I hate this. I hope it helps someone. Lastly, and most importantly, find a way to make it fun. Find a goal outside of just fitness to work for. Again, this is my goal bow right here, the 180 pounder. Been working on it for years, and everything I do is trying to better myself for that. Or if it's martial arts, I did jujitsu for a really long time. Had to take a break because of the kids. That was a good why for me. I was trying to make weight for a competition. Like, that's gonna give you that purpose to continue going, because if you just wanna look a certain way, to me, that just fizzles out quick. But if you find a sport and an activity you can do that keeps you motivated and going in the right direction, that is what's gonna go way longer, and you're not gonna fizzle out as fast doing that. Also, if you're all curious what the Greeks did in order to maintain that Greek physique, I did a full video about it here on the Tetrares system, which is the system they use and incorporated in order to be strong, athletic, and functional warriors. So that was a fun one definitely to do. A lot of good knowledge and a lot of good history and some bad Greek pronunciation.